early in the morning. People want their coffee. They're already miserable. Maybe they didn't eat yet. They're trying to get their like little croissant or whatever. So they're extra
croissant.
Oh, do you authorize to say that on camera?
Restaurant Punk, what's up?
Restaurant Punk. Restaurant Punk.
Yeah, right over there.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
It's been a while since I've been behind the microphone.
Yeah, we haven't done one in a
Yeah,
minute.
you slacker. Where you been?
I've been, here and there doing some stuff. Sick. But
Bullshit.
mostly here and there, vacationing, this, that, and everything else.
Yeah, you sound sick. Great. Glad you're over there.
Yeah, weren't you sick too right before I got sick?
You saying I got you sick?
I think you got me sick.
Sorry. I'm
Okay.
sorry, not sorry. I mean, not for nothing. You did. I mean, I just showed up to the event. You didn't have to stay that close to me.
Yeah, but I was trying not to stay close to you, but you
Oh, that's a you problem. I don't tell you.
following me around everywhere I was going.
Not that. I was okay.
Anyway, how's everyone
we'll
doing
cut this whole
today?
part out.
How is everyone doing today?
Pretty good. Did you snip a book today? By any chance?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, you're
book
missing out on
sniffer.
life.
This is your daily reminder.
Well, it's funny
Sniff
too.
Books.
Yeah, I know. Like now I want to go home and sniff a book. Just to see what she's talking about.
Yeah, no, you got to do a new one. It's not the same if it's old. And don't sniff an old book that someone else owned.
What if it has never been opened before? Is that still considered new?
Yeah.
Even if I've done it for 4 years?
Yep.
Because I'm not much of a book reader
Yes.
or sniffer.
Yeah, do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I was at the restaurant working it last weekend and we were like really busy. And, dealing with the customers in the front of the house and what they think, what they don't, what they expect. It's like, you know what? You should really, really work in a restaurant because you haven't and it shows. And I feel like everyone in their lives should at least do some form of restaurant industry job, where they're serving, busing, cooking, hosting, whatever, just so you know what the restaurant life's about. And I think that once they do that, they'd have a more of a clear picture. Like, because I know when I go out, I know what it's like. So I don't overdo. I know what to expect. I know how to treat people. I know, timings and all that stuff. So
I mean, I've had like some kind of like opposite reactions from people sometimes. Like, because I've had like people be difficult and then tell me, oh, I get it. I work in a restaurant. And then they act like a complete ass, like while they're there.
That I don't understand.
yeah, I don't get that
that's
either.
like bizarre, right?
Right.
But
do they still own the restaurant or worked in the restaurant, or they just, because it's not for everyone.
Right.
You have to agree. Restaurants are not for everyone.
Then I question. I'm like, oh, but I'm going to guess you weren't a server. You were probably a host, so you really don't know.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, being a host in a restaurant is not the same as being a server or working in the back of the house. You see things, but you do not experience it the same way.
Correct. But at the same token, I feel like a host or a hostess also deals with a certain,
True.
aspect of it all with clientele, just rashing it on them. Why is my table not ready? What do you mean there's a table right there? We made a reservation. Why are we not sat? Like that type of mentality too. And they have to deal with it because I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I just couldn't imagine someone working in the industry for a substantial amount of time and being that oblivious to how they treat people.
I know,
and just not have any compassion for someone.
They're just assholes, man, at that point. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I feel like people should have to work. It should be mandatory. Your first job should be in a restaurant and you have to work there at least 6 months to a year. So everyone could feel, because everyone goes out to a restaurant. So everyone, you kind of, people need to get schooled on how to treat people.
Would fast food restaurants like McDonald's or Wendy's or stuff like that count?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
probably
I
the
feel like
worst.
that's the worst. Like, actually, I feel like probably like the worst job you probably could have right now is like a barista. Dealing with people. That's probably like literally, that's probably like the worst job in terms of like
I
dealing
would
with
never.
with guests. Because like imagine now, right? It's early in the morning. People want their coffee. They're already miserable. Maybe they didn't eat yet. They're trying to get their like little croissant or whatever. So they're extra.
Croissant.
Oh, do you authorize to say that on camera? Because that's George's word. You can't just say that.
I didn't realize.
All things French.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like that's probably like one of the worst jobs that you could probably have in dealing with the public because.
Well, I feel like there's a lot of syllables for one order, right? Because it's like, can I have a whatever?
Oh, especially
the long description of whatever you want.
Vente, Lodra, whatever they say.
Half cab, grande, whatever, blah 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 blah.
Almond
Like that's a lot of
milk,
syllables for
saute.
one drink.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't know because I watched this woman at a Starbucks. Several of us were waiting, and she had, I guess, a special order, and she's standing right on the counter, and she's telling the barista, yeah, I'm just watching because I want to make sure you're making it right.
Oh, Jesus.
And she turns around, she looks up to the woman next to her, and she's like nodding. So I'm assuming they're together. So I'm watching this whole thing off on the side, and I'm realizing the other woman's like mortified. She's like, I don't know you. I don't want to be associated with you. You're embarrassing me. I didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I just want to make sure. She just kept going on and on and on. Such a Karen. And
Such a
then
Karen.
she leaves, and the woman she was looking at had said something to the barista. She's like, oh my God, did you see that? I go, I saw it. I go, that was awful, the way she treated you. And I was so tempted to say something to that customer. But I'm looking at her, and my first thought was, you've never worked in this industry.
Never. There's
There's no way. Like, I've had people sit there and say, well, I want to watch you make my drink. Well, enjoy that.
I'll make it extra slow just for you.
Like, I had a guy who had said to me, well, this isn't Kettle One. I go, it is Kettle One. I said, I'm pretty sure my company can afford to give you the real stuff.
Wow.
Right? And he's like, well, I've owned a restaurant. Okay, so you own a restaurant, and I know. I'm like, I tell you what, because I'm not in the business of arguing with people. So I grabbed a brand new bottle off the shelf and handed it to him. I'm like, go ahead, crack it open. And I'll pour it right out of there. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. But if you owned a restaurant, like, how do you treat people? But there are some people who
That's true.
I know for a fact they own restaurants. It was a Greek, as a matter of fact. I was
Are you
working
looking
at
at me?
sports because
He's Greek
yeah,
too.
Sure. I was working at a sports bar, and this guy was just. We asked for ID with your credit card. We're going to have proof that it's your card. And he gave me a really hard time, and he flung his ID at me, just flung it like a dick. And I looked at the card. He owned a restaurant.
Right.
I'm like, wow. All I kept thinking was like, would you be okay if someone treated your staff this way?
He probably treats his
doesn't
staff
even-
that way.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
That's the bosses that are crazy. And
I mean, try to make up for it and be nice later, but at that point, I was like
but
done
it's
with
already
him.
bad
I've
taste
gone
in
out to
their
eat
mouth.
with somebody too, that's owned a restaurant,
Right.
And like just like watching the way that they like talk to
Really?
like the staff there. I was like, oh shit, like this is like I'm like you're up.
Were you tempted to say something? Because I'm
mean-
someone who would say something.
I mean, I might have said like like a jab, like tried to make it like a joke,
Right?
but it's just dismissed. I mean, like you're not gonna. What are you going to do in that specific moment? You're going to like teach somebody something that they obviously don't have, especially if they're older.
Yes.
You're not going to teach like an older person like respect in that moment.
No, be
that doesn't
pointed
have
out.
respect
Make
for
them feel like a
in general.
douchebag.
Yeah, make them.
Yeah. So I'd be out with
Okay,
my
fine.
so
You
I'd
make
be
it a
out,
douchebag, but I mean, like that they don't give a shit.
so I'd be out with
At
my
the end of the
family.
day.
Okay.
Right.
There's 4 kids. 3 of us have worked in the industry. And the waitress comes up. What do you want to drink? And they're just too busy talking. Like, she's not even standing there. I'm like, you guys are so annoying. I'll say it right in front of her. You guys are so annoying. Or I'll be like, don't be that guy. I'm like, get your shit together, order your shit, because it's embarrassing. I don't like to see that, and I'd rather embarrass the other person I'm with. Because you have the balls to treat someone like shit,
Right.
then I'm gonna have the balls to make you feel bad about
No,
it.
exactly.
Not that it's my job, but I just
'Cause, it's just still a working class type of scenario, servers and whatnot, especially, and they have to deal with a lot of shit people
A lot.
that haven't. So if you have worked in a restaurant, you know that what they're going through or what they're about to go through. So just be a little kinder to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I could tell you an ignorant story. So I worked in a nightclub, and a customer came in, and he said, do you have like the big cubes of ice? And the server said, no, it was bottle service. And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, we don't have that. He's like, I mean, you make the ice trays. Why wouldn't you just make one with like the big cubes? And she turned to him, she said, wait, so let me get this straight. You think we sit there with ice trays and like that's how we make the ice? We just crack it for a table? He's like, yeah, well, how else would you do it? She's like, a machine? But clearly he had never worked, in the industry. So it's just interesting because people watch, and now there's so many TV shows on, like, kitchen shows and restaurants that people watch and think, well, I know because I saw it on Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's not.
There's what you
that's
see
not
on
always,
TV
yeah.
versus like what's reality too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because not so a lot of those shows use different machines and other types of cooking stuff, and it's not how all the restaurants work. And not every restaurant has a chef that yells at you.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean? So it could also be somewhat misleading. I feel like everybody should just work in a restaurant.
Really?
You gotta
Literally
get
once.
the first-hand experience anyway.
Seriously,
I think
you have
every-
more
like-
appreciation.
Well, and then be on the receiving end too, of how people can be.
Yeah,
Yes, because then you
Because
maybe
then you
you
get
think
that
twice.
understanding. Yeah.
yeah. Because when I go out to eat, I always bunch up my shit together or push everything to the side of the table. You know what I mean? Like if I'm done with the plate, I push it to the side. If everybody's done it, I stack them and put them over there so they don't have to reach or sit there and grab 16, 17 different plates. They just have one stack and they could just go.
That's what I do, but you know, some people do not like that. Some
Who?
servers. I've heard servers, they get bent out of shape because to them, in their mind, it's signifying that they're not doing their job.
Oh my God.
Right?
Come
but I'm like,
on.
thanks, because I'm a little bit on the short side. I probably couldn't reach that dish anyway, so thank you for stacking it.
Yeah, I plate stack too.
But I would have like the idea that when you're going out to eat and a server's serving you, like they know that you've worked in a restaurant field by doing stuff like that.
Yes.
Or saying, please, it's no rush, just take your time. I know you're busy type of scenario, you know what I mean? Or whatever else you tell them or show them for that matter. But yeah, definitely work in the restaurant.
And don't proceed to give people advice on how to do their job when there's that. Well, why it would be just so easy if you could just do this. Would it? Have you done it before? Because if you did, you would know that would not be the
Or like if
solution.
they want something prepared a certain way and the server knows the kitchen's not going to do it, like, well, can you just go ask anyway? Like,
Like strain the beans out of the chili.
Strain the beans out of the chili.
that was like the beginning episodes, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a long one. That was
Yeah,
like straining the beans out of the chili. Like, no.
But not every restaurant runs the same either.
no.
Too, so you might have people, you know, that have a different expectation because they've worked in like one kind of style.
Or have eaten at another one that does that
You
kind
know.
of, they will strain the beans out of the chili type of scenario. I
I
get
forgot
it.
what it was. We posted an episode. There was a short. I can't remember what the topic was. And someone commented and said, I've never experienced that before. Like, where do you? It was one of our shorts for the podcast. And I forget what it was, but she said, I've worked in a restaurant for so many years. I've never experienced that. I'm like, well, I don't know what restaurant you worked at.
Yeah. I wonder what it was about.
Was it the moving table one? Like moving?
Yeah, moving.
Like
Was it
moving your seat?
You're
asking
moving
to
your
like move your
seat.
seat or something? Was
Yeah,
that it?
being difficult, moving your seat, turning down the air conditioning, all these like these special requests. And this woman was like, I've never experienced that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Did she work at a McDonald's?
That's what I was just thinking.
But
Yeah, so
again, every place is different because it's like some places you can't move chairs or tables or they're
Right.
just bolted into the walls or whatnot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Cool.
Talk.
all right. Restaurant Punk.
Restaurant
Out.
Punk. We
Out.
out. Till next time. All right, I'll change it up. Whatever.
Fine, fix it. I'll fix it.
I
Thank you,
I wrote it. I wrote it
My new
191
favorite.
intro
Thank you.
when I sent it up to you. Ew. She just misses me. It's been a while.
Okay.
What you got? What do you want?